Before we get started, I forgot to plug. We got preseason live streams going on this weekend. A Saturday game against the Cleveland Browns, 3:25 Central Time. I think it's the time. Doesn't matter. Either way, we'll be streaming there. Full game. Yeah, unfortunately, no JJ McCarthy, but Amor Fati is what it is. Then also the Eagles game. We're going to do a lot of talking junk, a little bit of Q&A, and also all Venmos, Cash Apps, and Super Chats this month will be donated to Every Meal Twin Cities. They're a great organization that helps fill in some of the food insecurities for the youth of Twin Cities, because a lot of kids get their nutrition from school lunch, but I mean, when there's holidays, weekends, summer, and all that stuff, Every Meal helps fill in the gaps, and they do fantastic work. And you guys really crushed our goal with them at the draft live streams, so let's do it again for preseason. You can also donate direct. It's in the description below. If you do, shoot me an email so we count it in the tally. Goal 1509, feeling fine, in honor of Diamond Dallas Turner, as well as J.J. McCarthy, so hit that up. What's going on, Jerome's? So, yesterday the news that J.J. McCarthy needs meniscus surgery, could miss a little bit of time, could miss a lot of bit of time, depending on if it is a trim/repair or full replacement. Just sort of it is what it is. But, of course, J.J. McCarthy, always positive, always upbeat, always just mentally after it. Tweeted out, "Love you, Viking Nation. I'll be back in no time." And then Amor, Fati. Now, initially, I thought, so Amor in Spanish is love, so I thought he was saying something about love and fatties. I don't know, man. But I was like, I don't know if you can say that nowadays. But, of course, it's Latin. And our guy Thor Nystrom. So Thor's been driving the J.J. McCarthy bus since way back, like chiropractic. He's been absolutely right. Plus, it was a tough day for Thor because also his guy Tyrone Tracy, who was a running back at Purdue, but he was a receiver at Iowa, like the Amir Smith-Marset era. It's kind of fun, man. But he got injured pretty badly with the Giants yesterday. But, all right, so Thor tweeted this out. When they asked what he'd say to people who thought he was overdrafted, he, J.J. McCarthy, said, "We'll see." He called his interception a great opportunity because it forced him to forget a bad play and keep firing. He wrote Amor Fati after the knee. This is a dude you want steering the ship. Absolutely. All right, so Amor Fati is Latin for love of fate, the welcoming of all life's experiences as good. So either you win or you learn, or a fancy way of saying it is what it is. All right, and I think that it's a common Stoic philosophy phrase, and obviously, McCarthy's talked about his love of Stoicism, his love of things like that, and I think it's the right mentality to go into this with. Right, so. At the end of the day, it's going to be a bump in the road, and he'll be back. He'll be better than ever. It could be this year, it could be next year, but yeah, sucks either way. But the whole thing about it is that I think that he's mentally mature to be able to handle this. Some players, minor injury, especially so early in their career, could shape things. Maybe not for the better, but with McCarthy, like, he's got the right mindset, he's got the right mental fortitude, and he's going to turn this negative into a positive, and he's going to work his ass off. Ass off? Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Anyways, but also, so this has been pointed out that Adrian Peterson in 2016 at age 31 had a full meniscus repair. So not a trim, but basically just getting that thing out of there, replacing it with a cadaver meniscus. And he did return later in the season. So went under the knife on September 22nd, was back week 15, December 18th, 2016. Yeah, that was a Sam Darnold year. That was a Sam Bradford year. Nailed it. And it was out 91 days. Now, obviously, all cases are different. And also, Adrian's torn ACL, MCL late in 2011, coming back and winning the NFL MVP in 2012. I mean, that's a freak of nature type stuff. So, don't judge McCarthy's recovery on a timeline of someone else. Like, every single surgery and every single person is different. So, we'll see. But a generalized timeline is, if it's a trim, 4 to 6 weeks, and a couple weeks of preseason left, one gap week before the start of the season, he could be available at the beginning of the year. But if it is that full-on replacement, then it is what it is. Amor Fati. Nailed it. So it is the beginning of the Sam Darnold dynasty here with the Minnesota Vikings, and he was going to start anyway. He was like 95% mortal lock to. Not 95% more lock. It's kind of funny. But, yeah, he was going to start week 1. Now, it does remove the specter of McCarthy replacing him early in the season if McCarthy does indeed return at all. But also, I mean, that could be good. That could be bad for Darnold. I mean, maybe it wouldn't have been mentally good for him to have McCarthy just breathing down his neck and every single incomplete pass or every single throw that could have been better. Fans chanting for JJ. I don't know if that would have been good for Darnold or not. But what's been interesting is in the betting markets that Sam Darnold's odds to win comeback player of the year went from plus 3,500, so 35 to 1, to plus 1,800, 18 to 1. So basically cut in half. Now, under the new guidelines where comeback player of the year almost specifically says the player has to come back from injury/illness, he can't just be ass, thank you, and then all of a sudden get good. I think that limits his prospects of winning comeback player of the year. That's why I haven't even sniffed putting a jelly bean on this one because, I mean, there will be rogue voters for sure, voting under old guidelines, but under the new guidelines, I don't think that he's going to qualify, right? But that doesn't mean that he can't come in and kick some ass. He's got all the tools with Jefferson, Addison, eventually Hawkinson, Darrisaw watching his ass, and Kevin O'Connell working with him, plus his guy Josh McCown. So I actually do think that Darnold will have a great season. I thought that he was going to have a great season, even with a fully healthy McCarthy nipping at his heels. So there you go. But also, so we talked about this earlier too. Like, if McCarthy misses the full season and Darnold plays really, really well, what happens next offseason? Like, do you bring Darnold back on a short extension or even a 1-year deal? Do you tag him? I don't know, but cross that bridge when we get there. Also, so I need some comic relief, and this is good. Vikes fan page put this together. Former Lions wide receiver Calvin Johnson on the biggest trash talker he played against, quote, Jared Allen. When we played the Vikings, their D-line was just ruthless. So Jared Allen, B-Rob, Kevin Williams, etc. And Jared Allen was the ringleader who talked so dirty to our linemen, I would feel bad for them. And you look at Jared Allen, shocker. Shocker that Jared Allen was talking junk, talking noise the entire time. It kind of reminded me, like, hey, like him and Donald Penn got into it. I wonder, I wish that either one of them was mic'd up because that would have been golden. Although, I think the NFL would have buried that. Like, NFL Films has the one like underneath the building. But it's funny that in the NFL and NBA, the two biggest trash talkers turned out to be Jared Allen and Larry Bird. Merry effing Christmas, Chuck. It's good, man. That's pretty impact. But yeah, so Culinary Academy, I'm sure gave Jared Allen a very extensive vocabulary. I would have loved. Man, we need some pure. So when players are mic'd up, like, they generally behave. It's so funny too. Whenever a player's mic'd up and a player comes over and starts talking noise, he just starts tapping. I'm mic'd up. But we need like the true blue, unvarnished. I mean, I'm sure there's some very terrible things said, but it'd be hilarious either way. Also, all right, so Vikings did have a roster transaction yesterday, but also I don't care if we signed the Pope. Like, I did not care in light of the McCarthy news. But Kramer Strib. In other news, the Vikings waived /injured linebacker Jabril Cox, who was evaluated during Saturday's game and did not return, and signed linebacker Jordan whatever. But so Kunazik was a 2019 UDFA out of Cal, former teammates with Vikings 7th round pick Devontae Downs back in 2018, but bounced around the league a little bit the last couple years with the Browns, head of joint practice. Cool. Now, Jabril Cox was waived injured, so he'll pass through waivers, and if and when he goes unclaimed, he'll revert to Vikings injured reserve, and then just go from there. All right, so kind of stinks for the pride of NDSU /LSU, but it happens. Yeah, but hey, welcome Jordan Kunazik. I think I nailed that one. Also, in personnel news, this is from Purple Persuasion. According to Ben Gessling via Access Vikings on their podcast, he got the vibe that Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell's comments about Stephon Gilmore in Monday evening's presser was a sales pitch to Gilmore. Gessling describes it as a situation like Dalton Reisner and Kareem Hunt last season. Basically, He goes saying it felt like more like a message for an audience one. Basically, O'Connell came out and said very, very positive meeting with Stephon Gilmore on Monday, and Gilmore's out there likely weighing his options, but he would come in and be the best outside corner for the Vikings. I really don't care about the price. Probably going to be about 9, 10, 11 million bucks. You got the cap space, just pay it, and it instantly improves this defense, and the Vikings certainly could and should need it. So Stephon Gilmore, please, Kwesi, just close this one. Also, hey, EA Sports, way to kick us while we're down, man. So Madden 25 dropped, and I don't know what this face scan is, but why does JJ McCarthy look like? First off, why does he look like Blake Griffin? Second of all, why does it look like they just painted a helmet, a stencil of a helmet on his head? Like, what is this, a helmet for ants? I don't get it, man. But Amor Fati. It is what it is. Anyways, that's it. Vikings news done for this beautiful Wednesday. You guys know what to do. Skull production value.